Welcome guys, I'm HOJ, and in today's video we'll be doing a best of one standard event with the updated version of the Temur Elephants deck that I had built the other day, and then also adding in adventures to the deck. So before we get started, if you check the description, you're going to find out all of my deck lists, including this deck list, all of the standard event deck lists, and in addition, the playlists for all of those decks. You can go to the different links and check those out. In addition, there's going to be a stats page. If you go to untap.gg, there'll be a link for that as well, for the win rate percentages, and then also a link to my other channel where I'm a writer of sci-fi and fantasy, and a link if you'd like to subscribe, if you like this content and if you'd like to see more. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the deck. So lots of changes, and I really want to say that I really appreciate all the comments you guys gave. Really, it was just kind of a starting point, and yeah, in that first best of one standard event, we did go 0-3, so that was pretty brutal. But I've made a lot of changes to the deck. I cut out a lot of the digging mechanics and just tried to bring in kind of an adventure aspect to get a lot of different pieces of value. So first of all, let's go over the lands. We do have, for the lands, 25 sources, and with those we have the ability to produce 19 sources of green mana, 19 sources of red mana, and 20 sources of blue mana. We have 2 come into play tap lands that are man lands, 2 copies of Restless Ridgeline, which can tap for either green or red, or can be turned into a 3/4 red and green dinosaur creature until end of turn. And when this land attacks, another target attacking creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Untap that creature. So 2 man lands, and then we also have 3 of the come into play tapped tri-lands, just to sort of help the mana base. Beyond that, we do have 3 copies of Starting Town to help out, 4 copies of Multiversal Passage, and 1 copy of Conduit Pylons to help filter mana. It is worth noting that I don't have all the rares for some of the pay-2 life lands, such as Stomping Ground or Breeding Pool, and so if I had some of those, I would alter the mana base slightly, but it's pretty close to what I want. I have 1 copy of Willowrush Verge that taps for blue and then taps for green if you control a forest or island, 3 copies of Botanical Sanctum, and then 1 copy of Thornspire Verge, 3 copies of Spirebluff Canal, and 1 copy of Riverpyre Verge, and then 1 of each of the basics to go and fetch. For the 2-drops, we have 4 copies of Scalding Viper. I really like this because it gives us some early bounce. Since our deck is a little bit slow, we're not going to be doing much on turn 1 except playing tap lands. And then this can also, so it has the adventure side where you can bounce an on-land permanent to its owner's hand for 1 blue and 1 other. And then on the other side, you can play a 2/1 blocker, essentially, at least in this deck, that whenever an opponent casts a spell with mana value 3 or less, this deals 1 damage to that player, which can be pretty cool. 2 copies of Questing Druid, which gives us some additional value, another adventure spell, which has an adventure side for 1 red and 1 other. As an instant, you can exile the top 2 cards of your library, and then until your next end step, you may play those cards. So you can do this at like the end of the opponent's turn, and then you have a full turn to use those cards. In addition, it's also a 1/1 for 1 green and 1 other. It's a human druid that whenever you cast a spell that's white, blue, black, or red, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And so we do have about 20 different spells that are also different colors, not just green. So should be getting some counters here on this, and again, could just be sort of a nice blocker here for us. Also 3 copies of Intrepid Paleontologist. Part of the reason that I wanted this is because it is a accelerant, so it's 1 green and 1 other as a human druid that's a 2/2. It can tap to add 1 mana of any color, so it helps us meet our color requirements. It can also pay 2 mana to exile target card from a graveyard, and you may cast dinosaur creature spells from among cards you own exiled with this creature. So if you cast a spell this way, that creature enters with a finality counter on it. So this is nice because it gives us some graveyard hate for like Reanimator decks or Is It Cauldron, and it also allows us to replay our Trumpeting Carnosaur, which is sort of our top end, and also a way that we can discard it to do 3 damage in the early game to help kind of stave off some of the threats, and then get some additional value with Intrepid Paleontologist by replaying it later. For our 3-drops, we have 1 copy of Ancient Cornucopia, and you might want to run more of these. I'm just sort of starting with 1 at the moment. It's 1 green and 2 others, an artifact. Whenever you cast a spell that's 1 or more colors, you may gain 1 life for each of that spell's colors. Do this only once per turn, and then it taps to add 1 mana of any color. So it helps us get more mana, helps us accelerate and fix our colors, and then also it can gain some life for us. There's a lot of spells that have multiple colors in this deck, and so we can gain like 2 or 3 life sometimes when we cast those spells. And then we have 4 copies of Summon Fenrir, which is 1 green and 2 other as an enchantment as a saga. It is a 3/2 creature, which is a saga wolf, and then when it comes in, for the first step, you search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle, and that's why we have 1 of each of the basics, so it can go and find whatever we need. And then step 2 is Heavenward Howl, where you, when you cast your next cast a creature spell this turn, that creature enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. So it helps kind of buff up some of our creatures. And then number 3, draw a card if you control the creature with the greatest power or tied for the greatest power. And then after that, it goes away. So it's kind of a nice blocker. It helps accelerate us again and also helps fix our mana requirements. In addition, there's some kind of extra value here with the single copy. We have Terra Magical Adept, which is another of our 3-drops, which is 1 green, 1 green, 1 red, and 1 other, which is a legendary creature, human wizard warrior. And when Terra enters, you mill 5 cards, put up to 1 enchantment card milled this way into your hand. So you can go and get essentially Fenrir, or you can go and get sort of our big payoff elephant card, which we'll get to in a minute. And then she has the trance ability, which is you pay 1 green, 1 red, and 4 other, and tap her to exile Terra, then return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control, and activate this only as a sorcery. It's a 4/2, and then when it comes back after you do the trance, it is a saga with 4 counters, or 4 steps. So the first 3 steps are all to create a token that's a copy of a non-legendary enchantment you control. It gains haste, and then if it's a saga, you put up to 3 lore counters on it. So you can choose which step it kind of comes in at, and then sacrifice it at the beginning of your next end step. So this is a really nice combo with our sort of big payoff card, which makes a bunch of elephants, which we'll get into. You can also use it to do another Fenrir, if you happen to have that. And then I'm not sure if we have more enchantments in the deck, but those are kind of the main ones. And it's also a 6/6 flyer on this side. And then the 4th step is you add some mana and then exile Terra and return her to the other side. We also have 2 copies of Broadside Barrage, which is a nice removal spell, kind of mid-game to help deal with big threats. It's 1 blue, 1 red, and 1 other as an instant. Broadside Barrage deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker, and then draw a card and discard a card. So it kind of helps us dig a little bit and deals with most threats as a 5 damage spell. And then 1 copy here of Beluna Grandsquall. So this is sort of the adventure payoff. It's 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 red. And it is a legendary creature, giant noble, as a 4/4 that has trample. And for the adventure side, you can also cast it as an adventure first, which is 2 colorless mana, 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 red. As an instant, mill 7 cards, then put all the cards that have an adventure from among the milled cards into your hand. So it'll go and find a bunch of adventures for you. And then on the permanent side, it's a 4/4 trample. Permanent spells you cast that have an adventure cost 1 less to cast. And so this will reduce the cost of the right side or the permanent side of the spell. It will not reduce the adventure side of the spell, which is worth noting. For the 4-drops, we have 2 copies of Witchstalker Frenzy, which is 1 red and 3 other as an instant. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature that attacked this turn, and then Witchstalker Frenzy deals 5 damage to target creature. So this is a nice way to sort of give us a discounted cost if we're up against aggro. If they're attacking us with a bunch of creatures, we can help sort of deal with a big threat at a reduced cost, but it's primarily a defensive spell, at least in this deck. And then 3 copies of Tempest Hart. Tempest Hart is another adventure spell. So on the adventure side, it is 1 blue and 1 other as an instant. You draw 2 cards and then discard 2 cards. And then for the creature side, it's 1 green and 3 other, which is an elemental elk as a 3/4 that has trample. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So we have a couple higher end spells, and this can buff up a little bit. Also, the 4 toughness is just nice to kind of give us another roadblock until we get our big payoff spells. 3 copies of Ill-Timed Explosion, which is 1 blue, 1 red, and 2 other as a sorcery. This is kind of our sweeper. It's draw 2 cards, and then you may discard 2 cards. When you do, Ill-Timed Explosion deals X damage to each creature, where X is the greatest mana value among cards discarded this way. So we can use it to wipe the board. We can also, if we have like an X4 in play, we can use it to hopefully just wrath their side of the board. So it's also another way to dig to find our answers. And then 1 copy of Kellan, Inquisitive Prodigy, another adventure spell. On the adventure side, it's 1 green and 1 blue as a sorcery. You investigate, and then you may play an additional land this turn. So it helps us kind of ramp a little bit up to our big threats. And then on the permanent side, it is 1 blue, 1 green, and 2 other as a legendary creature, Human Fairy Detective. He's a 3/4 flyer with vigilance, and then whenever Kellan attacks, destroy up to 1 target artifact. If you controlled that permanent, draw a card. So a nice way to kind of give us a little bit of acceleration and then another blocker. And then we have our payoff, which is Roar of Endless Song. I have 3 copies for now. I started with 4, but in this updated version, I think 3 is probably going to be right. That could change, though. It is another Saga as an enchantment, which is 2 mana, or 2 colorless mana, 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 red, so 5 mana total. And for steps 1 and 2, you create a 5/5 green elephant creature token. And then on step 3, you double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. So you make a bunch of elephants and you swing in for the win, hopefully. Again, this combos really well with Terra. So Terra can make copies of it for more and more elephants, which is pretty ridiculous. And then our other kind of top-end spells, we have 1 copy of Horned Loch-Whale, which again, you could play more of this. This is just what I have for now. It is on the adventure side, 1 blue and 1 other, and it's an instant. The owner of target attacking creature that you don't control puts it on top, puts it on their choice of either top or bottom of their library. And then when you cast it on the permanent side, it is a 6/6 whale for 2 blue and 4 other, which has flash and ward 2. And this creature enters tapped unless it's your turn. So just sort of our big kind of finisher that can sort of help us, give us a little bit of bounce early game. 1 copy of Marang, River Regent. Now, this is not a adventure spell. It is Omen, which means we can choose either the left side or the right side to play, but not both. On the Omen side, it's 1 blue and 3 other as an instant. You draw 3 cards and then discard a card. So it kind of helps us dig if we need to find our finisher. And then on the right side, it is 2 blue and 4 other as a dragon, as a 6/7 flyer. And then when this creature enters, return up to 2 other target non-land permanents to their owner's hand. So it kind of helps us bounce and deal with threats at the end, and then gives us a finisher. And then 3 copies of Trumpeting Carnosaur, which can be used in the mid-game to discard to do 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker for 1 red and 2 other. Or we can cast it at the full value for 2 red, 4 other, which is a dinosaur, which is a 7/6 trample. And then when this creature enters, you discover 5. And so when you discover 5, you exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with mana value 5 or less. And then you can cast it with without paying its mana cost, or put it into your hand, and then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So yeah, that's kind of the updated deck. I made a lot of changes, and again, I really appreciate everybody's comments and suggestions, because I feel like this deck definitely needed some help from the last time. So all that said, let's go ahead and let's jump in to a standard event. All right, just 1 second here. And all right, let's see what we get round 1. I tried just a couple sort of play games with this that were unranked, just to see how it was kind of doing, and it's actually doing, yeah, it's certainly a lot better than it was last time as a complete sort of out of nowhere deck. But I really like the changes. So yeah, we've got all 3 colors. We're going first. We got 3 land. We got a sweeper. We have some acceleration. This hand looks amazing. Start out here with the Restless Ridgeline since it comes in tapped. And we plan on playing our Spirebluff Canal next turn. Ooh, looks like we're up against Mono Green Stompy. Okay, this could be a very tough match, but we are going to do the best we can. Oh, I forgot we could use this as an instant. Huh. Oh, it's attacking creature. Okay, yeah. Well, let's get some acceleration here. Out of all the threats from this deck, okay, so Tifa is very scary. Chocobo is a little scary, but Tifa is terrifying. All right, so let's play Botanical Sanctum. And we could even, if we really wanted to, we could wipe the board here with Ill-Timed Explosion, or we could just Broadside Barrage the Tifa. I think we should kill Tifa now while they're tapped out, since they probably have Snakeskin Veil, and that can very, very quickly kill us. It'll also help us dig a little bit, so let's do that. Ooh, I like that. We need a little bit more mana to get that going. I think, what do we want to cut here? Kind of want to cut the whale. I mean, the whale is good. Although maybe we're supposed to cut Ill-Timed Explosion here. Because whale can help bounce. If we can get Carnosaur going, that'll be great. Since we have Paleontologist, we kind of don't want to blow up the board. So maybe let's get that out of here. I think next turn we can go for Forest plus Paleontologist. Carnosaur if we need to. Oh man, now I'm wishing that I'd kind of wishing we left our Ill-Timed Explosion, and maybe that was the wrong move. Okay, well, we have Roar of Endless Song, which is pretty sweet. I kind of just want to get that going. So we could either use Carnosaur to blow up the Chocobo and play Paleontologist, but I feel like they have Snakeskin Veil up anyways. So let's just go big, and let's just go for Roar of Endless Song. This is the whole, like, namesake of the deck anyways. I don't know if it's going to work, but it's going to be fun. They probably were not expecting to see elephants in Standard. Okay, Hydra is terrifying. Looks like they're keeping elves back for Snakeskin Veil, potentially. Either that or Overprotect. Or Tifa. Okay. Yeah, I will absolutely take the chance to kill their Hydra. Alright, so let's play Sanctum. And then, unfortunately, we're going to have to get rid of the Carnosaur here. But I think that's fine. We can do it... Oh yeah, we can do it instant speed. That's kind of cool. Alright, so let's play Sanctum. And then we can get the Carnosaur back with... Oh man, that's going to be silly. Alright. I think we're happy to trade an elephant for a chocobo. They only have one land in hand, or like one card in hand. So I think we get in for 5 here. And then see if they want to like double block and if we can get them. But I think we have to save this for Hydra because it's too dangerous. Alright, so let's attack. Probably think I'm mildly crazy for attacking here, but... And maybe we are. Oh, wait, this only does 3 damage. Oh, no! Oh, God. Okay, this is a problem. So, I think we have to kill Tifa. Tifa's probably more dangerous now. So let's kill Tifa. And then I think we try to Horned Loch-Whale this Hydra next turn. I think that's the plan. Alright, miscalculation there. I thought that was 5 damage, not 3 damage. Okay, so I think maybe the plan here is we double block the 6/7 and then try to bounce this Hydra. I think that's the play. I suppose otherwise we could just take it. So if we take 11 and bounce this Hydra, they'll have 2 blockers. We won't have trample is the problem. So I think we want to deal with this Chocobo. Yeah, I think if we do it that way... Ooh, otherwise we could go for this next turn. +2/+0 and untap it. Yeah, I think we want to deal with these Chocobos while we can. If he has the bounce, it's pretty awkward. Or the if he has Snakeskin Veil or Overprotect, we're kind of screwed. All right, we live to fight another turn, another day. Okay. We can swing for lethal. Actually, if we get our Restless Ridgeline going, we can make this a 6/4 and then untap our 10/10. I like that. Make sure we tap this correct. Or I suppose if we make this 6/4, we can push a little bit more damage. They don't have trample, I don't think, so we can just do it like this. And hit them for 9. Oh, and that should do it. Okay, so we can bounce. Let's see, do we have enough mana to do everything? Yeah, I think we... Yeah, so we bounce the 6/7. And then we can get this ridgeline going. Oh, you know, we don't quite have enough. Ah, whatever. It's fine. 1-0. We've already won 100% more games than the other version of the deck. All right, we have all 3 colors. We have 3 land, we have acceleration, we have 2 of our big ones. Yeah, this hand looks amazing. Let's choose a Sanctum here since we're just gonna play this first anyways. That's why, like, I think this is better on turn 2 or turn 3. Now let's see if we can survive. Okay, so now I think we want to go for Paleontologist. This ridgeline is a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. Hopefully they don't shock it, but they totally could. Okay. Do they have like Boros Charm? What do they have here? Ooh, Opera Love Song. It's a very good card. It's a whole lot of damage. Don't know if we will make it long enough to get this going. Okay, so starting town is next. And I think we go for Summon Fenrir here to get a blocker. I mean, like, this 4/4 is cool and all, but if we get the Fenrir, we'll get 1 mana closer to being able to do this, and we can still block. Actually, this is kind of interesting. I think maybe this is Beluna. Like, it doesn't accelerate us. Ah, man, I don't know. Because, like, if we draw a natural untapped land next turn, we can go, like, from Fenrir to block one of their guys, hopefully survive, into Roar. If we go Beluna, I guess we go, like, Beluna into Fenrir. It's actually not the end of the world. Doesn't... Oh, God, did I just... Oh, my Lord, I skipped my turn. Oh, no. All right, that was my fault. My mistake there. They might have already had it, but... Okay, now we got a Carnosaur. I mean, luckily we have something to do, so we don't just die, but that was pretty bad. If they have the Helix, we're done. Yeah. Okay. That was going to be a little hard to win anyways, but yeah, I should have made a choice a little sooner there. All right, 1-1. I do not have very many reps with this deck yet. I've played maybe 3 games with it, but I'm very excited for it. Okay, opening hand looks great. We've got acceleration, we have more acceleration, we have dig, we have some blockers, and 2 land, and all the colors we need. So I think, yeah, let's do it. We'll go Multiversal Passage for green. This This is a great opening hand, as long as they don't have like a lot of shocks. Okay, if they have shock, we might be in trouble. But it is what it is. I really like Paleontologist though, because it has the ability to recur Carnosaur. There are some like 1/3s that tap for every color. So those are considerations. Okay, we got a land, happy about that. And then I think we go for Fenrir here to get another land and a blocker. Although it's not really a blocker, but you get the idea. Okay, I think we want red. And we can go for ill-timed explosion if we need to, which we probably need to. Yeah, not all the paleontologists are super long for this world. Okay. Yeah, this is going to die anyways, so I think we're just going to take the L here and see if they want to get it. Okay. Well, they didn't fall for it. It's okay. Although, hilariously, we actually have a lot of health, a lot of mana now. Do we want that on top? I actually kind of like that. Like, it's kind of like more nonsense for us to be doing. I think I like that on top. Now we can just Marang. I think we just Marang here. It's like a huge blocker, deals with their nonsense. Feels pretty good. I'm like, good luck getting through a 6/7. Unless they have like Sheltered by Ghosts. Alright, they found the Paleontologist. Little did they know that we didn't need them anyways. Let's just get some blockers going. So I think let's do... We could go Tempest Hart to draw 2, discard 2, and hopefully hit a land. And then play it. If we miss, we could go for like Paleontologist or Questing Druid. And I think let's start here though. So how do we want to tap this? I think I want to tap red and blue. Actually, let's tap it like this. Oops, never mind. Whatever. Okay, we're running out of time. Alright, discarding 2. I love Terra. Man, so much value. I think the Paleontologist has maybe gotten all of its usefulness. I think I want to hang on to this just in case, even though this is extra value. Let's go for... how about green? And now we can play the heart. And then we're just going to sit. And we can use Terra to hopefully find some elephants. Okay, well, they're going to get through with Bastronaut because I'm absolutely blocking Slickshot Show Off. Thankfully, I guess they could like shock us and then like double strike us a couple times. Oh, they're going for it. Okay. That'll work. I am happy to make that trade. Okay. Scalding Viper is pretty fun. Let's do Terra first and like actually see what we hit. Man, this deck is so much fun to play. Okay, we totally whiffed. It's okay. And now let's just bounce that. I think we could even get in for 3. Crazy, I know. Ooh, Hellkite is a beating. Question is, can we survive? I don't know if we can. Carnosaur is pretty big game though, I gotta say. Man, that Nova Hellkite is gonna be a problem though. I think we just Carnosaur and just like hope for funny stuff. Sure. Okay. See you later. Yeah. And now we'll just hit him for a cool 8 damage. Well, I wonder if we're supposed to like hold one back in case they have like a haste creature. Maybe that was a mistake. But like if they had a haste creature, we could just block it with Carnosaur. So if they have like this shock here, they get us. No, don't do it. You jerk. They had it. Okay. Oh well. We didn't get there, but I had fun. All right, 1 and 2. I do think this deck has come a long way. Hopefully I can win some matches here. No promises, but we'll see. All right, we got the land, we got the stuff. Let's do it. Open with Botanical Sanctum, I think. Authority. Sure. All right, let's do Spirebluff Canal into Kellan. And let's play another land. Man, we're already up a land. This is feeling good. Kellan's pretty sweet too, right? Okay, artifacts. Artifacts is interesting. Artifacts is definitely interesting. I think we just go for Kellan here. Otherwise we could like dig, but I don't know what we're digging to. Kellan is a decent threat. Do we want a bivouac? I guess we eventually want this Horned Loch-Whale. So I kind of like keeping it there. Like we can go for like Heart next turn. Yeah, I think it's fine. Because they have like 4 Pinnacle Star Cages, I don't think we want to mess around too much with lots of cheap drops. I think we just kind of want to get straight to the business. So I think I might just skip the digging here and just go straight to the 3/4. They're going to have a little bit of a harder time dealing with it. Alright, so let's do the Kellan thing. Oh, this kills any artifact. That's kind of cool. Huh. That's actually randomly hilarious against them. Yeah, I guess we can get rid of this thing. I don't know if that was better than getting our own, but I think it's fine. Because they can, like, turn it into some other nonsense. And then I suppose we could bounce it. Do we care? I think we just want to get to the business. Like, we're definitely a race against the clock here. Man, Kellan is hilarious against artifacts. Yeah, he's immune to spring-loaded bullshit. I think we just go for Horned Loch-Whale, honestly. Like, all this other stuff is cute and whatever, but I think we just go straight to the business. So I guess we get rid of that thing. How about green? Actually, let's go blue. And we're just going to flash that in end of turn. Like, the reason I'm not dealing with these so much is because of all the Pinnacle Star Cages. And they have, like, repurposing bay to go and find the nonsense. So they found a way to deal with Kellan. Do we care? I don't think we have things that can answer that in response. I think we just have to let that happen. Actually, Scalding Viper is pretty good against these silly constructs. Don't know if it's going to be enough, but we'll see. Alright, I think I'm just going to go for the whale, get a nice hit in. Frenzy. Do we want to use Questing Druid here to find out our options? Actually, we can bounce this and get Kellan back. Do we want to do that or just get rid of the 4/4? It's just when he attacks. So the problem is, like, since we can't do it at instant speed, they'll be able to just get him back before will be able to do anything. So maybe that's not the best. I think I'm going to go for Questing Druid. Till your next end step. Never mind, I'll do that later. Oh, you know, we should have bounced that. That's okay. That's fine. So maybe we just wait till end of turn. Otherwise, we could bounce the synthesizer. I'd have to replay it, waste a little bit of time. That might honestly be better. And then we want to play the Viper. I guess I kind of want to do this one first. What we want to do the exile till end of turn. I guess we can still do this and play the Viper. Gives him 2 life, which is kind of annoying, but... I'm sure I'm not playing all this stuff completely correct, but... Okay, now let's use our Questing Druid. And those are not great. Oh well. I guess let's crack the clue. Do another Scalding Viper. Yeah, I kind of like it. Bounce the Simulacrum again. Alright, so I guess we play the Questing Druid first. They'll get some life off of it. But I think that's okay. Play this Bivouac. Okay, now if they've got Star Cage, which they almost certainly do, they'll use that to get rid of Viper and Druid. And then they'll draw some cards. I assume that it's either that or Repurposing Bay. Or another Synthesizer. Okay. It is what it is. Problem here is that that's now too big for Witchstalker Frenzy. Although... we could do Ill-Timed Explosion plus Frenzy. The problem is that kills our own Viper. God, is there a way we can get it? What do we do? Maybe we just dig for cards? I guess let's start there. Yeah, I think we just get rid of... I think we just keep the cards. We don't do any damage. Play Viper or Fenrir. They gain life. Makes this thing a 4/4. I don't know that we care. All right, let's attack, I guess, first. Just trying to decide if we want to play this other Viper. It's like it dies to Star Cage. We'll still be able to Frenzy. So I think maybe we do. All right, and then we'll full send. Fortunately, we can't Frenzy it before blockers. Yeah, they're going to block there. That makes sense. Problem is now they're just going to Star Cage. Ugh, it's a beating. Got him low, but we didn't quite get there. I think, unfortunately, that might be it. Yeah, there's the Star Cage. Got him within spitting distance, just not quite. Man, if that thing was a 5/5 and we could have used Frenzy, we could have got there. Yep, there's the repurposing bay, sure. You're gonna need another mana to get the kill. I don't know that they have it. Alright, let's dig. I don't think I can find anything here that'll win the game, but it's worth a shot. Go for the Carnosaur. Oh, it's too bad this can't hit players. Alright. Yeah, this is not gonna do it. This is not gonna do it. Carnosaur and do a Hail Mary. Man, it can't hit players either. Oh well. I don't think there's anything. Alright, we got elephants on the way out. That's great. Alright, well, so it goes. So unfortunately, we didn't get there. We ended up going 1-3, which was better than the 0-3 last time. So this is a fun deck, and I really enjoy it. Would love you guys to share your comments or thoughts for ways to, you know, maybe perfect it if that's possible. But going back to the deck, we basically cut a lot of the digging cards just in place of some other like adventure kind of silliness. So maybe the adventure stuff is sort of too much, but I do like some of these cards here. I think Carnosaur is great. Paleontologist feels really good. The problem is Paleontologist dies to shock, which is flying around the format quite a bit. There was a 0/4 that taps for mana of any color for 2 mana, so that's a possibility. Anyways, thanks guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.